Above the clouds, at the top of the majestic castle, the King of Heroes is dying with his last golden words before his death. Even divine AniSky came to see him off. He is very happy that the goddess of protection visited him at the end of his life, and she gave him another life so that he could live according to his own wishes. The blessing came true. His name was still given as Inglyes, but he doesn't understand how the hell he is reincarnated as a girl. He still has the memory of his previous life and is too young to wield a sword. Fortunately, he has ether that divine AniSky gave him. Ether is the foundation of all creation in the world. Everything that exists is composed of ether, and control over it means exerting your will over the world itself. It is, in essence, power. Suddenly, he hears people say that there are magicite beasts appeared. His mother bursts into the room, and seeing him flying, he pretends to cry like a real baby. His mother carries him into the main castle to hide. Everyone trembles at this dragon except Inglyes. He is very excited and wants to defeat this dragon, but he is too young to do that. His cousin, Raphael, feels very ashamed that he couldn't fight that dragon even though he was given the mark of all knights, called Rune. Runes are needed to wield artifacts, the weapons that allow combat against magicite beasts. Those didn't exist in his past life. Raphael's rune is of a special caliber. The kind is only given to the chosen few who will represent the hope of all people. Everyone will protect him at all costs. Suddenly, the tyrant dragon breaks into the castle. Inglyes' mother hands Inglyes over to Raphael and rushes to fight the dragon. However, Raphael leaves the two children in a safe place and rushes to fight the dragon. The dragon wags his tail at them, knocking them unconscious. Inglyes couldn't stop his belligerence. He crawls out and stares at the dragon. He uses Ether's power to attack it. His eye emits a blue light that blows away the dragon. Due to using too much energy, he faints. The tyrannical dragon disappeared, and the peaceful days went smoothly again. Soon, he was 5 years old. He is always looking at himself in the mirror because he is still not used to this gender. Then he takes his cousin Ronnie to the training ground to play the knights. They are having friendly matches against each other until the Rambok company comes to join them. Mr. Rambok's son, Raul, wants to fight the knights here. He alone defeated 10 horsemen in a row with a very cocky attitude. He used a trick to win over the knights. He used magic to slow down the knights' movements without their knowledge. Seeing this, Inglyes confirms that this world had lost a lot of magical knowledge. Even such a basic thing fooled them. When it is Raphael's turn, Inglyes gives Raphael the advice that he should avoid looking into his opponent's eyes. However, Raphael only looks at his opponent's legs to attack, so he is hit against the wall and defeated. Inglyes couldn't stand still anymore, so he challenges Raul to a duel. Of course, his father doesn't allow this. He couldn't let his 5-year-old daughter get into a fight. However, Inglyes threatens to tell mother about that new vase he bought. His father quickly changes his attitude and lets him fight. Raul uses slow magic but is unable to hit Inglyes, who was once the king of heroes. Inglyes quickly defeats Raul. His victory makes the knights more relaxed. On the day of the ceremony to receive the mark of knights, Ronnie is given a greater rune. Relatives and uncles all want Inglyes to receive a special rune because her talent is beyond discussion. But his mother and father thought otherwise, thinking that giving Inglyes a special or great rune would cause her to live for others and not for herself. Aware of that, when Inglyes receives the rune, he uses Ether to break mana, leaving him with no runes at all. Her relatives are all very sad for him because she is talented but not blessed. But that is Inglyes' faraway plan. In this childish form, he wants to be only Ronnie's bodyguard, so that he will be able to go to the battlefield continuously without being promoted. In this world, there is a rain called the Rainbow Rain. While it has no effect on humans, this rainbow rain turns wild animals and plants, as well as livestock, into magicite beasts that attack humans. The most powerful of them all is the Rainbow King, which can level a nation all on its own. Inglyes and Ronnie are now 12 years old, and everything has begun to take shape. Inglyes is always excited about fighting monsters, much to Ronnie's anxiety. The two of them stroll together onto the balcony, looking at the highland, which provided the artifacts and baptismal tabernacles that allow the people on the surface to protect themselves and their livelihoods from magicite beasts. In exchange, the surface dwellers gift them crops and materials in massive quantities. Inglyes is curious how the Silver Kingdom he had previously ruled is now. He searched all over the library for books, but there was still no news. Ronnie sees Highland and prays because it is said that whoever sees this flying land and prays, their wish will come true. Ronnie wishes Inglyes and her brother could become a couple. Inglyes is bewildered after learning of Ronnie's wish because his body is a girl, but his soul is a man. In the evening, the two changed their clothes and went to the party. Here, Inglise is very shy because the men stare at her. Inglise and Ronnie are then introduced by Duke Bilford, who is Ronnie's father, to a holy knight named Leon, who is serving alongside Raphael. This is Lord Chennai, the inspector, and the envoy from the Highlands. But they didn't expect that person to be Rawl. Rawl spent a great deal of money to be a citizen of the Highlands and despises the people living on the surface. The Holy Knight found the situation uncomfortable, so he moves the two girls away. From the Highlanders' perspective, the surface-dwelling humans are a lesser race, who can't even protect themselves without the artifacts they grant them. So Highlanders control whether humans live or die. They go to the place where the artifacts are kept and meet a Hyrule Minas named Eris. Eris suddenly slaps Leon in the face and scolds him for being stupid for bringing these two girls here. Suddenly, they heard screams at the party. Upon arrival, they learn that Lord Chennai has been killed by Rawl. Rawl wanted to sleep with the female knight of Lord Chennai but was refused by Lord Chennai. He immediately created flames out of nowhere to kill him. He then forces Duke Bilford to report to their king that Lord Chennai had died of illness. He orders the female knight to sleep with him tonight, or the worst will happen. Inglise couldn't stand still anymore. She steps up to challenge Rawl, and this is also what Rawl wants. He tells Inglise to come to his mansion for the fight. He has been waiting for this opportunity to crush Inglise. Inglise goes to Rawl's mansion alone and is stopped by Eris. Eris tells Inglise to run away. Of course, Inglise won't leave, so Eris uses force to compel Inglise to leave. The two have a match right here. Eris gives Inglise a scratch on her arm. She apologizes for hurting Inglise, but this injury only makes Inglise more excited. Inglise begins to accumulate mana in her body, but Eris is suddenly hit by a sneak attack, rendering her unable to move. Unexpectedly, the one who sneaked up on Eris was the Holy Knight Leon. Leon uses a high-level artifact to summon 30 lightning beasts to fight Inglise while he battles Eris. Inglise uses mana to strengthen her body and charges directly with lightning beasts. She beats them until they explode. Then she rushes to beat Leon. She is slowly overpowering Leon when suddenly Ronnie jumps out from the window of Rawl's mansion. Following her is a giant golem. Inglise immediately rushes over to Ronnie to save her. Ronnie says that she was planning to assassinate Rawl, but she discovered that he was going crazy and had turned into a disgusting form. It turns out Leon poisoned Rawl with a drug made of rainbow rainwater. It's called the Prism Flow. The Highlanders will be turned into monsters after drinking it. Then Leon escaped. Ronnie's father comes to save everyone, and Inglise wants to borrow Eris's power to defeat that golem and drags her along. Together, the two girls kick this monster out of town. Inglise claps her hands and pretends to be amazed at Eris's strength. She covers Eris's mouth and tells her to keep this a secret. The kick just now only sent the monster flying to a faraway place, so it was safe. This time alone, Inglise will fight the monster, from her hand, radiating an energy source with blue light. That is the strength she has trained for 12 years to fight monsters like this. After finishing the monster, Eris reported to her superiors that it was all Leon's doing and that the city would have nothing to do with Rawl's death. A few years later, Inglise and Ronnie, now 15 years old, will go to the capital to enroll at the Knight Academy. They then set off for the capital together, stopping at the town of Nova for a meal. However, they eat so much that their pocket money won't be enough to pay until they reach the Knights Academy. The restaurant owner suggests to the two girls that the landlord is recruiting new knights and mercenaries in preparation for the battle against magicite beasts. They immediately go to the lord's castle to enroll and easily defeat the other knights to be chosen. Both are kept in a magnificent room and have a very spacious bathroom. While soaking in the bath, Inglise feels his mana being absorbed by something. The lord of this place enters. She has the mark of Highlanders on her forehead and introduces herself as Siren, the consul of Nova. She came to ask them to go with her to a forest to subdue knights, who served under the old ruler and were a wicked bunch. Their violence towards the townspeople had become a problem. When they reach the lair of the wicked knights, they are surrounded by about 100 knights. Ronnie intends to use a rain of arrows to defeat the knights but is stopped by a Hyrule Minas like Eris, much to Ingly's excitement. The leader orders his men to attack. Inglise asks Ronnie to protect Lord Siren and the others. She will handle the Hyrule Minas. Sischa feels a weak girl like her stands no chance against her. Inglise smiles and converts her ether to mana. Sischa continuously launches the spear towards Inglise at a very fast speed, but Inglise is able to dodge them all. Not only that, but Inglise slowly approaches her. The gap with the opponent is increasingly narrowing, making Sischa no longer have a way back. Inglise attacks her with a punch that breaks the wall. This time she starts to fight seriously. She uses her space attack to hit Inglise, but she only gets one stab and then continues to dodge. Inglyes increases his mana and charges at her. At this moment, Ronnie comes in, and she grabs Ronnie to threaten Inglyes. Inglyes agrees to let her go, saying she is free to do whatever she wants when fighting her. She can flee as many times as she likes if she thinks things aren't going her way. However, if she ever hurts Ronnie again, she will be a dead woman. Then Inglyes' group captured all the knights and brought them back to town. The two girls think they will be executed, but Lord Siren is willing to spare them because they are inherently loyal to this land. Then the housekeeper brought the tea, but today the taste of the tea seems a little different. Siren leads the two to the depths of the castle. They reach the last floor and see magic circles. The circles absorb the surrounding mana, causing the land to lack mana. Once these circles absorb enough mana, they will separate from the ground and transform into a new flying land. If that happens, the people here will have two choices: leave or become slaves to the people of the Highlands. Siren doesn't want them to become slaves and will try to negotiate with the Highlanders. If she can't, she will fight them. The fact that a Highlander was chosen to become a lord in this place meant that the land would become the possession of the Highlanders. Ronnie says she will support her. If she needs their power, they will be ready to help her against the Highlanders. Siren happily hugs the girls. That night, Siren goes out to look at the moon and turns into a magicite beast. The girls now realize that Siren has been poisoned by the housekeeper. She did it to avenge her son, who was murdered by people in the flying land. Inglyes immediately takes command of the place, ordering the knights to evacuate the people into the castle. Ronnie stays behind to support her from afar while she battles Siren. At this time, Sischa appears and wants to kill Siren, but Inglyes stops her because she wants to protect Siren. A mysterious man appears and claims to be the leader of the Bloodchain Brigade. He came to protect this land. Siren is approaching the castle. The leader and Sischa charge at Siren, but are stopped by Inglyes. Inglyes rushes to attack the leader, but surprisingly, he is able to block all of her punches. Meanwhile, Sischa is about to finish off Siren, but Ronnie stops her. The children calling out the Lord's name make her regain some sense. Siren wants to commit suicide but is prevented by Inglyes. She wants the help of the leader, and if she fails, she will let him do as he likes. The leader accepts. Inglyes instantly converts Aether into mana to freeze the Lord. Then the leader shrinks Siren to the size of a palm. Inglyes realizes that the leader is also using Aether, so he is a divine knight too. It's over. Ronnie and Inglyes leave Nova Town. The Lord has turned into a cute little monster. Then they reach Almond Cathedral. This place is holding a very powerful monster. They could only seal it in this ice. Inglyes felt a great deal of power radiating from it. A knight comes and tells them to stay in this shrine because the outside is being attacked by magicite beasts. Inglyes excitedly runs out to fight them. A large eagle attacks her, but a knight named Leon thinks Inglyes has no power and rushes to destroy it to protect her. She possesses a greater rune, just like Ronnie. However, Leon alone can't destroy all the monsters here, so Inglyes gives her a hand. Ronnie also comes to support them. Then they introduce themselves to each other. When Leon hears Ronnie's last name, she knows that Ronnie is Raphael's sister. Raphael used to help Leon a lot. However, the knights only thanked Inglyes and Ronnie, but not Leon, because she is Leon's sister, a former holy knight who betrayed this country and fled. Ronnie's brother arrives, and seeing Inglyes' growth makes him blush. Accompanying him is a beastkin named Ripple. She is also a Hyrule Menaces alongside Eris. They go to a restaurant together to chat. Ronnie and Inglyes tell about their journey. Ripple admits her brother betrayed the country, and one day she will arrest him. Inglyes and Ronnie assume that Leon has betrayed them for some reason because they believe that Leon is a good man. Coincidentally, all three girls intend to join the capital's Knight Academy. Taking this opportunity, they made friends with each other. Meanwhile, Raphael had the knights take the monster to another place to avoid it attracting other monsters to the town. On the day the girls start at the school, Prince Wine welcomes everyone to the Royal Knight Academy. Headmistress Miliera is beautiful with a cute voice. She owns a special rune. This makes her strong enough as a holy knight. She starts the students warm up by casting gravity magic on them and releasing some spiders to play with them. If they can avoid being tagged for 10 minutes, they get a whole month's free food at the cafeteria. Inglyes easily blows away all the spiders, surprising everyone. Miliera comes to negotiate with Inglyes to stop her from throwing spiders out. She promises to give Inglyes 3 free tickets for a month at the cafeteria. So Inglyes did nothing and let the spiders kick the other students out of the arena. Until Inglyes is left alone in the ring, she blows away the spiders and wins 3 tickets for free cafeteria meals. After finishing eating, the two did not see Leon anywhere. It turns out that she is kicked out by her roommate, Lyslot, for her identity. Inglyes and Ronnie tell Leon to come to their room. Together, they spend their first day at the Knights Academy. The next morning, they take advantage of the free meal ticket, so they order all the best food here. Only Leon ate normally, like everyone else. They get to know a couple, Ratty and Pram. Then there's the flight practice class. They will be doing a flying gear exercise with both the knights and squires and running to the flying gear dock. The teacher quickly runs ahead to let everyone follow him. Inglise thinks this exercise is too easy, so she increases the weight of her body to increase the difficulty of the game. But she still easily surpasses the teacher, leaving him shocked. She slows down to talk to the teacher for a bit. Ratty did his best to run because he didn't want to lose to a girl. However, he can't take it anymore and gives up. When everyone arrives, they are divided into groups to fly together. Inglise carries her friend and is surpassed by Ratty. She splashes water on Ratty and Pram. Not only that, she also shows her flying gear control skills, which make Ratty accept the loss. After the practice class, the principal calls the high-performing students for challenges, including Ronnie, Lyslot, Leon, Pram, and Inglise. Each person will enter a door and pass in the allotted time. Inside is a dark space. Memories show up in front of Inglise's eyes, but only illusions. She also sees memories from her previous life and the person who inherited her throne. Ingris breaks into this space and discovers the other girl's space. The closest space is Lyslot's. She wants to apologize to Leon and wants to get closer to Inglise's group. Inglise and Lyslot invite each other upstairs. Lyslot summons a pair of wings and carries Inglise upstairs. They see Leon's memories, and she has a hard time with her own past memories. Inglise and Lyslot rush to support her. Lyslot also apologizes to Leon for her rude words before. Leon accepts her apology, and the three go out together. The principal is surprised because all three come out from a door together, but they went out successfully and were recognized as having completed the challenge. Pram got out first, but she was kicked out of a black hole and failed the challenge. That night, Inglise and Ronnie take Leon back to Lyslot's room. Then the trio opens a party to celebrate because they have a new friend. The principal then calls the four girls for an invitation from the Chancellor, who is Lyslot's father. The next morning, everyone goes shopping for some new clothes when they see Eris and Ripple exterminating a magicite beast. Although they managed to destroy it, Ripple's health was not good. Ripple is trying to appear unharmed in front of everyone, but the truth is, no one knows. That evening, the girls put on splendid costumes and boarded carriages to the Chancellor's mansion. The headmistress also accompanied them. She tells everyone to take this opportunity to convince the negotiator to supply more new weapons to the country. As soon as Ronnie gets off the car, she falls because she is too hasty. Her brother comes to help her up. However, he is immediately drawn to Inglise's beauty. But the sound of the two girls' hungry stomachs startles Raphael. He brings the girls into the party, but the sound from their stomachs caught everyone's attention. Raphael has to tell everyone that he has been starving for so long that the sound is a bit loud. But before the girls have time to take a bite, the magicite beasts appear. Inglise picks up a chicken tail and gives it to Ronnie. Raphael rushes to destroy the beast to protect the girls, but the headmistress advises him to protect the prince and the chancellor. She and the girls will handle these beasts. Inglise only needs to use one finger to destroy all the monsters here. Lyslot comes to see how everyone is. Her father is safe as Raphael arrived in time, but Ripple is not fine. She is fainting and covered with a black barrier. It was this that led the beasts to come here. Highland emissary Theodore believes this was done by the hierarchy. There are two factions of Highlanders. One is the Grand Duchy. They give us not only artifacts, but also flying gears and other new technologies. The other is the hierarchy. They prefer to keep new technology away from those of us on the surface whenever possible. Each of these two large factions would send Hyrule menaces to each country to maintain the balance of power. Ripple is a Hyrule menace created by the hierarchy. They may have prepared a way to destroy her from within. After a while, Ripple wakes up and remembers what she has done. She hopes the prince kills her or banishes her so she can't harm people. But Prince Wine would not do that to the woman who protected this country. Inglise offers to take Ripple to the Knights Academy to keep an eye on her. Theodore also agrees with Inglise's plan. The principal will probably find the cause of Ripple's anomaly. The prince agrees to let Ripple go to the Knight Academy. The principal and Theodore then brought Ripple to the academy and explained Ripple's situation to everyone. Silva Iron very quickly understood the situation. He was the only student in possession of the special rune. Yua is about to leave, but the principal wants to ask for her help. She is the best student among the second-year students. Ripple suddenly feels unwell. She apologizes to everyone and faints. The headmistress creates a barrier so the magicite beasts won't escape the academy. The beasts are attracted by the power of Ripple. Silva asks the principal to let the third-year students show off their skills, but Inglise also wants to join the battle. The other girls also defeated the other Magicite beasts one by one. Soon, the beasts were annihilated, but if this continues, the academy will spend a lot of money on repairs. Theodore gives Leon a sword, a greater artifact. It can teleport people to another dimension so as not to damage the academy. Taking this opportunity, Inglise wants to have a duel with Ripple. The headmistress agrees because she also wants to test the dimensional barrier. Then Inglise and Ripple start the match. After a while of evenly matched hand-to-hand combat, Ripple pulls out a gun. To counter Ripple's weapons, Inglise takes out an ice sword to block the bullets. Ripple continues to pull out another gun to attack Inglise. Especially since Ripple's gun doesn't need to be loaded, Inglise doesn't have time to get close to her. Inglise quickly realizes when Ripple attacks with two guns, she can't move. Inglise uses her sword to knock the bullet toward Ripple and dashes to knock her over and hit the principal's barrier. Theodore discovers that Ripple has the ability to absorb mana, so he asks Ripple to touch Lyslot's wing. But Lyslot doesn't feel anything. He continues to ask Ripple to touch the principal's wings, and immediately Ripple absorbs mana from the principal's wings. She can absorb the mana of special runes. When she absorbs a certain amount of mana, it will summon a Magicite beast. Leon reaches her limit, so the space barrier disappears. The principal's room is destroyed by the beast, and Inglise feels very excited because this monster is very powerful. Inglise immediately rushes to kick the beast into the sky. It will fall to the schoolyard. They need to destroy it before its body crushes this school. Everyone sees Yua from afar. They call her and tell her to run away because the beast is right above her. She immediately launches an attack that slices the monster in half. Inglise feels very excited when she witnesses Yua's power. Theodore is certain that Ripple will summon Magicite beasts after absorbing enough mana from someone possessing a special rune. Eris and Raphael arrive to announce that the neighboring country's army has crossed the border, and the prince summons Theodore to return to the palace. The next morning, the royal guard sent a letter announcing that they would return Ripple to Highland and welcome a new Hyrule Minas. But the principal is determined to protect Ripple until the end. Meanwhile, Leon and Lyslot are worried about Ripple when they are attacked by a beast. But suddenly, a lightning beast destroys it. Leon realizes it is the power of Leon's artifact. The two chase it to a cave. Leon shows up, and Hyrule Minas Sischa and the leader of the Bloodchain Brigade are also here. Leon attacks her brother and scolds him for betraying the nation. Lyslot intends to support Leon but is prevented by Sischa. The leader says that the royal court has decided to offer up Almond to the Hierarch Highlanders to restore relations with them. The Hyrule Minas will be handed over in 4 days. The Highlander emissary will come by boat. The Bloodchain Brigade will attack and kill the emissary when they arrive. If the girls would like to try something of their own, feel free to take advantage of the chaos the Bloodchain Brigade will cause. They leave after revealing their plans. Leon and Lyslot return to report everything to the principal. There are 2 problems to solve: Ripple and the town of Almond. The principal tells Ronnie and Inglise to infiltrate the palace as maids. Everyone decides to hand over Ripple right after the ceremony. Taking advantage of the time when the knights are protecting the palace, they will let Ripple absorb their mana to attract all the beasts and destroy them. If they can destroy all the monsters, then Ripple won't need to return to Highland anymore. As the plan begins, Inglise and Ronnie are entrusted with delivering food to the nobles. King Carius comes, and he possesses a special rune. The king introduces an emissary from the Highlands. They have promised to send a new Hyrule Minas, who will lead the kingdom to even greater glory. This is the Highlander emissary, Lord Ivel. Despite his young age, he is already a great general. Lord Ivel laughs and says that the Highlands get a whole city just for swapping out one defective Hyrule Minas. Humans are losing the lives of their fellow men. They are losing a valuable asset, and they are still trying to suck up to him. Despite being humiliated, the king and all the nobles end up bowing at Lord Ivel's words. Suddenly, the Magicite beasts attack this place. Inglise immediately fights them. Suddenly, a deadly attack caught Inglise's attention. Inglise has never seen it before. A knight intends to assassinate Lord Ivel but is prevented by Inglise. Lord Ivel says that he doesn't ask anyone for help and uses that light to destroy the knight. Then he stares at the king. The king kneels down and says that this is probably the plan of the Bloodchain Brigade. He begs for forgiveness. Lord Ivel insults the king by saying that he is just a leader of castles. His apology is worthless. He cuts off one of the king's arms to everyone's panic. Inglise walks up to the king, picks up his arm, and tries to restore it. But Lord Ivel disagrees with Inglise's actions and wants to take someone else's arm instead. Inglise asks Lord Ivel about her arm because she wants to experience Lord Ivel's power firsthand. Inglise uses mana to strengthen her body and let Lord Ivel cut her arm. But his strength could only cut through the outer garments and could not leave Inglise with a single scratch. He frantically uses that light to keep attacking Inglise, but to no avail. Lord Ivel gets angry and asks Inglise to show her power. Inglise intends to punch him, but the king stops her because Lord Ivel is a Highlander. Lord Ivel continues to insult the king and says that he didn't come here to send a Hyrule Minas. The chief hierarch is angry. One day, this whole competition will be wiped off the map. Suddenly, in the sky, appear many flying gears of the Bloodchain Brigade. It turns out the hierarch wants to lure the Bloodchain Brigade here to destroy them. This ceremony is also just a trap to lure the Bloodchain Brigade. Inglise assumes that Lord Ivel has deceived the king and cut off his hand. She asks for orders from the king so that she can suppress the crime in front of her. The king orders her not to kill him, capture him alive. Lord Ivel creates a special barrier. The moment she touches this barrier, her arms and legs will be annihilated. However, Inglise has guessed the strength of his barrier, leaving him shocked. She advises him to focus his barrier on one point, which will make it stronger. She will attack there. Lord Ivel laughs and says that Inglise is acting foolishly. He shrinks the barrier and tells Inglise to attack it. Inglise, without hesitation, throws a kick at it and breaks his barrier. She kicks him somewhere quite far away. But anyway, they need to destroy the Bloodchain Brigade right here in order to strengthen the bond between the Highlanders and the surface humans. Inglise drags Ronnie out of the palace to fight the Bloodchain Brigade. Ronnie shoots arrows around the flying gears to prevent them from attacking the palace. The leader asks Inglise where the emissary of Hingland is, but she kicked him to somewhere she didn't know either. Silva arrives to inform the principal that the Bloodchain Brigade is attacking the palace. The principal tells everyone that their participation in the operation is voluntary. Please don't push yourself too hard. Hearing that, Yule wants to go to her room to sleep. The headmistress chases her and begs her to stay to help everyone. Silva bows to beg Yua for help, making her think he is crazy. Ripple also begs her help, saying that she would treat Yua to a hearty meal. But Yua doesn't like food. She wants Ripple to introduce her to someone. She likes someone cool like Four Eyes, but without his temper, and someone is not as weak as him. The principal agrees and begins the plan. Leon uses the sword to create another dimension, while Ripple absorbs the mana of Silva and the headmistress. Ripple's mana has accumulated enough. She faints and summons all the remaining Magicite beasts. Meanwhile, Inglise and the leader are having a hot match. Ronnie says something is coming. It turns out to be Lord Ivel. Inglise is glad as he landed safely. Lord Ivel wants to destroy the leader of the Bloodchain Brigade right here. Sistja comes to report that they have taken the battleship. The leader wants to borrow Sistja's power. Sistja transforms into a 7-colored spear. At this moment, the girls are exterminating the Magicite beasts inside the barrier. But Leon has reached the limit and can't hold this space. Lightning beasts appear and destroy the remaining beasts. Leon shows everyone the orders of the leader. The leader allowed him to act freely and protected whoever he wanted, so Leon came to support everyone. Leon is delighted to have her brother by her side. Once again, Leon activates the power of the sword to take everyone into the barrier. A strong light appears and destroys Leon's barrier. Leon says that Ripple summoned an extremely powerful monster known as Prismer. Inglise is extremely excited when she sees it. She has always dreamed of defeating a Prismer on her own. She is confused because she doesn't know which opponent to fight at the moment. Ronnie asks her to immediately return to the academy to help everyone. Lord Ivel asks Inglise to get out of here and not fight for his prey. He is very confident with his shield. However, the leader's spear can pierce his shield and destroy his body easily, until his entire body disappears. Meanwhile, the headmistress tells Yua to attract Prismer's attention while she creates a barrier. Yua rushes to punch it, but it is swallowed. The headmistress creates a barrier to protect Yua. Prismer continues to attack them with a beam of light, and Leon uses the artifact to block its attack, causing his artifact to be destroyed. Inglise doesn't know which opponent to choose. The leader has defeated Lord Ivel and captured their battleship, so he will let Inglise go. Although it's a pity, Inglise has to return to the academy to support her friends. The two ride the flying gear to everyone's place. Ripple has awakened in the space barrier. She is surprised because she has summoned a primer. This time, Ripple wants to protect everyone. However, she has just fired a few bullets when Prismer throws her to the tree. Silva begs her to lend him her strength. He remembers the day when Ripple saved him, and up until now, he has trained himself very hard. Silva's will is forcing Ripple to turn to the weapon form. Silva feels this great power, but Leon tells Silva not to use Ripple because he is too young. Silva is about to pull the trigger when Inglise appears. She knocks him out, and Ripple returns to human form as well. Inglise broke the principal's barrier to get in here, and she says she will be responsible for this. She rushes to kick it into the sky. It is about to shoot out destructive beams, but Inglise moves so fast that she could block multiple beams at once. People can't see her moves. Her face, enjoying the battle, makes the principal confused. She says that Yua is in Prismar's belly, which makes Inglise sober again. Inglise intends to punch a hole in Prismar's stomach to get Yua out. She is blocking the Prismar's punches and kicks with her own, making everyone freeze. However, Inglise still couldn't get close to Prismar to save Yua. Ronnie shoots arrows at Prismar to make it lose sight. The other girls also rush to support Inglise. People will attract its attention. Taking this opportunity, Inglise kicks it into the air, uses Aether Strike to attack it, and finishes it off with Aether Breaker. Yua is rescued by Ronnie using the flying gear. Everyone is very happy because they are all safe. Leon also quietly left. Several days later, everyone is working together to repair the academy. Yua says Silva didn't do anything when the big guy showed up, so he should do all the work here. The two maids were noticed by the king, so they were summoned to the palace. The king let Inglise become the head of the royal guard. Ronnie is sad that Inglise will leave her with such high status, but Inglise doesn't hesitate to refuse the king's offer.